Ahead and call this meeting of the Orange Township Board of Trustees to order. Today is December 10th, and this is for zoning hearing ZON 2509. Administrator Bonnie, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Ringel?
Here.
Trustee Faust?
Here.
And Trustee Knapp?
Here.
Will you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For those of you who have not attended a zoning hearing before, I'll go ahead and go through our format for the evening. So first off, we'll have a report from our zoning director, Mr. Duffy, regarding the application that we have before us. And then if the applicant has a presentation that they'd like to make after that, they can do so. The trustees may have some questions related to the staff report before then. But if the board doesn't have any questions or comments to the applicant after their potential presentation, then we'll open up the meeting to public comment, and we'll go into some greater detail about providing public comment at that time. And then once public comment has ended, the board will ask follow-up questions to the applicant and any additional commentary, discussion, and then the board will make a decision. So without further ado, I will turn over the floor to Director Duffy.
Thank you, Chairman Ringel. We are here to discuss rezoning case ZON-25-08. This is for a property technically on Columbus Pike. They're off of US 23 between Gooding Boulevard near the corner of Home Road. The entire parcel is just over 25 acres, but the area being amended is just over 11.8 acres in the newly created sub-area 2A. It is currently zoned planned commercial and office district. The applicant is requesting to amend the currently effective development plan in the PCD to allow for the construction of a variety of senior living facilities on the southern portion of the parcel in newly created sub-area 2A. The property was originally rezoned from FR1 to planned commercial in 2004. Development plan was then amended in 2017 under ZON-17-04 to allow for a number of commercial uses on the site and to update the development standards. In terms of the comprehensive plan, the site is located in sub-area 8 of the 2018 comprehensive land use plan. Recommendation 8-5 reads, on the east side of Gooding Boulevard, the preferred use is planned office use as transition to residential, no single-use big box retail in this sub-area. To the north is Home Road and another planned commercial and office district, which is referred to in this text as Parcel 1. To the south is planned commercial and office district as well in the Delaware County Library, Orange Township branch there. To the east is US 23 and then planned commercial and office district on the other side. To the west is single family planned residential district and the neighborhood of Clear Creek. So scrolling down is the overall development plan submitted by the applicant. We do have a bigger version that we can throw on the screen later on, but you can see, Gooding Boulevard is to the top of the screen, so north is to the right. So you can see the main building, which is the assisted living, senior living, memory care facility to the left there, which is the south, and then 15 total duplex units of senior independent living houses. So this parcel, which is referred to, the whole parcel is referred to as Parcel 2, would effectively be split into two sub-areas. So the northern of the two parcels would remain unchanged under the current planned commercial district. The southern 11.8 acres would stay in the planned commercial district, but with this development plan that would allow for the senior independent living uses. This would be a divergence to allow for residentials in the planned commercial district. We do note that the assisted living facility itself would be permitted under the current development text. So really the reason why we're here is that the text needs to be amended to permit the independent living facility uses, as we do classify those as pure residential uses. That is a divergence from the zoning resolution to allow for residential uses in the planned commercial district. A second divergence is also requested to permit temporary trailers to be used for sales and or leasing activity following commencement of construction on the project. The plans submitted by the applicant show the assisted living facility to be just over 60,000 square feet. Again, 15 independent living facility buildings are shown as they are duplexes. That's a total number of 30 independent living units. Language has been added to the development text that does cap the number of independent living units as 30, so it is both limited on the development plan itself as well as in the text. The plan district contains a maximum square footage for all buildings on the overall parcel 2. There was a textual update to clarify that the maximum square footage in subarea 2A shall not exceed the square footage allowed in parcel 2 overall. Any building square footage not developed in subarea 2A would remain available for development in parcel 2 overall. There is another divergence request to decrease the building setback along US 23 from 80 feet to 70 feet. That is a divergence from the standards of section 21.09 of the zoning resolution, which deals with setbacks from a public right-of-way. Per the zoning code, that is 80 feet. The applicant is requesting that to be 70. The text is proposing to change the maximum height of a 2-story building in subarea 2A from 36 feet to 38 feet. That is not a divergence from the zoning resolution, as the overall maximum height in the planned commercial district is 50 feet, but the previous approved development text limits 2-story buildings to a height of 36 feet, so this would exceed that by 2 feet. There's also some language updating the roof pitch requirements in subarea 2A. I will not go into that into detail, but just note that it is being changed slightly. Language is also being added that buildings in subarea 2A may have their primary elevations face the interior of the site or Gooding Boulevard instead of US 23. Language is also proposed that would reduce the minimum structure separation from 15 feet to 10 feet. That would require a divergence from the zoning resolution, as the zoning resolution does specify that minimum primary structure separation is 15 feet. And then an interior building setback has been added to the boundary of subareas 2 and 2A, so where this new subarea 2A meets the planned commercial remainder, there would be a 30-foot setback on the south side of subarea 2A and then 15 feet on the subarea 2 side to the north. In terms of amenities for the site, one clubhouse is proposed for the senior independent living area. And then around the assisted living facility, there are 2 courtyards that are shown on the plans, along with a memory garden. In terms of parking, a total of 125 parking spaces are proposed, not including garage or driveway spaces for the independent living units. We do believe that meets the requirement for parking for the zoning resolution for assisted living facilities. Parking setbacks are proposed to be decreased from 48 feet from US 23 to 45 feet. That is not a divergence from the zoning resolution, just a change from the previously approved language. Another divergence is also requested to allow parking in front of main structures and senior facilities. I won't get into the details. The applicant did request this as a divergence because our zoning resolution does contain some language about where parking is supposed to be located relative to the building. Because this is a through lot that has frontage on both sides, I'm not really sure that it's those prohibitions or provisions would come into play here, but the applicant is requesting the divergence just in case. For landscaping, a mix of deciduous, evergreen, and ornamental trees are proposed for the site, as well as various shrubs. It was also updated to add trees near the basin to meet the street tree requirements in the development text. Trees were also added to the northern perimeter of subarea 2A to create some buffering between the senior independent living uses and any future commercial development to the north. The applicant also updated the landscape plans to show a 3-foot mound along the Gooding Boulevard frontage south of their proposed curb cut on Gooding. For lighting, there is one text change that would permit street lighting in subarea 2A, where the development text would currently prohibit that. The applicant did submit a photometric lighting plan on it. We do believe that it meets the requirements of the zoning resolution. For signage, the applicant did not include any information changes or divergences for signage, meaning that all signage would be required to follow the signage code of the township zoning resolution in Article 22. For access, they're showing one curb cut on the site plan, at least as of the time of writing. The location had not been formally approved by the county engineer's office, but the applicant has stated that they believe the access location complies with all the requirements from the county engineer. So to sum up, for divergences, there are a total of 5. The first for residential uses in the planned commercial district, second for temporary trailers, the third for the building setback along US 23 going from 80 feet to 70, the fourth for structure separation for 10 feet instead of 15 feet, and then the fifth is the parking area location. In terms of review from other agencies, this was heard by Delaware County Regional Planning Commission. They did recommend conditional approval of the amendment request at their October meeting, subject to 5 conditions. We do believe that all of the conditions have been satisfied to our staff's satisfaction. They did recommend that sign exhibits be submitted. Essentially, because no signage was submitted, it's basically saying that they will follow the code, so we did not feel that that was necessary. The Orange Township Fire Department did review and approve the site plan earlier this week, so they are square with the fire department. And then the Zoning Commission recommended approval with modifications at a 4-0 vote at their meeting in November, including 3 modifications. 2 of those had to deal with updated photometric and landscaping plans. And then the third had to do with the setback on the northern property line between subarea 2A and remainder of parcel 2. Applicants submitted updates that satisfied all those requirements on December 2nd. So the Zoning Commission's approval with modifications should stand with a 4-0 vote. That's all I have at this time. Happy to answer any questions that the board has.
Thank you, Director Duffy. Do we have any initial questions?
I had a couple. The curb cut on 23, that I'm not seeing it on the site layout, and I know this is with the 23, just all the stuff with that. Is that something that we plan to do? It looks like at this point, based on the drawing, that you're not doing it, which is fine. I'm just curious.
Yeah, there is no plan to have a curb cut off of 23.
Okay.
That would be.
I'm sorry, can you state your name and address for the
I'm
wet
sorry.
record? Thank you.
I'm Attorney Catherine Cunningham with a law firm of Kegler, Brown, Hill & Ritter in Columbus, Ohio. Here representing Trilogy, and with me is Joe Naraki. He is the representative of Trilogy who can answer the intricate details of the development. I can answer some of the overall bigger questions, and Joe's saying, what curb cut from 23? The original planned commercial zoning text and exhibits would have allowed a right-in, right-out curb cut off of 23. That is not something Trilogy proposes, as you can see from their site plan that's still up there. It is, it's a pretty tight site. They're maximizing the use of that site, and they have not really planned for that. One of the issues for that is, if there is one, typically is the fire department, of whether or not they have complete access. They have signed off on it. And Robin may not be aware, but the Trilogy also has to get the approval of the county engineer for the entrance off of Gooding. And they have received the approval of the county engineer. They had not, and sorry, Robin, I didn't update you with that. They had not until like within a week, where they were anxious to try to have that approval memorialized before they were here before this board. So that curb cut has been approved, and Trilogy is not planning on anything coming off of 23.
Are they going to give a presentation?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe have them give the presentation.
Yeah,
and
sorry,
then-
sorry.
Okay, and then.
Did you want to give your presentation? Sorry.
Yeah,
jumped
you want
the
to give your
gun.
presentation, then we'll have many more
Yeah,
questions.
if you have a presentation,
Okay.
please feel free.
Sorry.
Happy to do a presentation, and Joe may follow up with this or with presentations, but honestly, I don't have a lot to add to what Eric has said. In this case, this site is a 31 acre gross site. The area that we are really only amending is by the creation of this sub-area 2A, which is an 11.8 net acres of that whole site. And we were here because, as I think as Eric has mentioned, the assisted living facility is a permitted use in this zoning classification. And Trilogy is a provider of of these types of health services, living services for seniors and people with memory care, assisted living, and other, I'm missing one, Joe, but
Memory care, assisted living, skilled nursing.
skilled nursing, thank you, and skilled nursing at this facility. And so they're here really to clarify, because your code uses words like convalescent care and some of those more antiquated references under today's norms of those facilities. We were here, we requested that it be clarified that in this, we could do assisted living and memory care on this site, just because in my view, as when I look at the code, that wasn't clear. And then the real reason is because they have a sort of a continuum of care campus, and in order to put senior living facilities on this site, which they will own and use in association with their other facilities, we needed to have a divergence from your zoning code. And that's really the divergence. Sometimes in the text, it sounded like we were doing a divergence because we were talking about changes from the text, the plan commission, the PC text from before, really not the codified in your resolution standards. So there was maybe a little bit of confusion there. So really it was those uses that drove this. There is a provision in there for a temporary sales trailer. What Trilogy will say is, we hope we never have to use it, because we would rather get a structure up and sell from, a model, as I think, as the Trilogy representatives had said, would you rather, rent a home that you can see, or go into a trailer and, take your best bet. So they're really hoping that that they don't have to have a temporary trailer, but if we did, we put a limitation on that use, I think, to when a certificate of occupancy would be issued for the other facilities. They don't intend to have any kind of a longevity of a trailer on that site. But that was a divergence from your code, because it strictly prohibits all of them. So they wanted to be clear that that was really just a very limited use. So Trilogy was very proactive about meeting with the neighbors and the neighborhoods to the west about this facility in Gooding Boulevard. I think part of when Robin mentioned that they were showing a mound along Gooding on part of it, that was, I think, in response to some of those conversations and the hearings that they came to and heard loudly from neighbors, and they've tried to make amendments and be a good neighbor and collaborate with everyone. So the development standards that Robin went through, the 10 feet from US 23 is on the southern portion of that site, and it's just partly because the drive aisle and the parking spaces along the assisted living, which Robin is showing, Michelle is showing us, all the way down in the bottom left corner, are getting kind of close to that right away, and they just wanted to be sure that there was enough distance separating those two. The internal setbacks are actually not shown on that development plan as much, but they're really at the far right hand of that, which is the northern portion of the site. One of the things that staff had recommended was that there be a clarification of internal setbacks if you're putting a residential use within a otherwise commercial sub area. And Trilogy worked with the property owner and had shown a 30-foot building setback to the independent living facilities that you see in sub-area 2A, and with a 0 setback for parking. They actually, if you see their site plan, they do provide intend to provide a fence that will separate the two. And on the commercial side, a 0 setback to parking. Again, there'll be a fence separating the two. And 15-foot building setback on the commercial side on the north, which is the remainder of what was the original parcel 2A outside of this sub area. And as Robin said, we, at the sort of request of staff and the zoning commission, the landscaping was sort of made a little bit more robust, particularly along 23 and at the internal property setback and along Gooding, to try to create a nice buffer from what was around and to give some privacy to these residents who are going to be living in this area. as well. So those were done, again, in response to meeting with neighbors and, thank you, Michelle, and meeting with neighbors and also working with staff. The pond areas that you see are dry ponds. They are not, there won't be water in them. They'll be rest and temporarily hold if there's a big rain event, but quickly drained. So those will remain, no, there won't be any kind of permanent or even hopefully very long water in either of those areas. That's just a stormwater management issue. And the parking, to Robin's point, there was a question about parking in front of a building, and we've got the commercial building, and then we've got these homes with, duplexes facing different ways, so we just wanted to be sure that the parking that, as shown on the site plan, was not gonna be in violation of any zoning. Ultimately, I think that the decision was it probably isn't, but just in case, we wanted to be sure, because it really, the parking spaces sort of off the main drive can be used by either parcel. As far as the signage, nothing was presented at the time. Trilogy will be back with that. The reason was because at the time that the site plan, Trilogy wanted to be sure that the curb cut at that location was correct and that they will appropriately design the signage associated with that. So until that was all set, they did not move on for signage, but they will come in with that in the future when they're ready to go. And so as for the divergences from the code, Trilogy tried to be as measured as they could be, given the site and its location, to really only request the very minimum, other than the residential senior use is a bigger divergence just because of your code language. I don't think not because of the overall use of the site. It's a pretty consistent use and certainly consistent with today's standards of trying to have a continuum of care in a single location. And the temporary trailer, a very short period of time for the 23 setback. Again, there's not really going to be any kind of connection into 23 from there, so moving it over to allow a little bit more flexibility within the site development and making sure that it's a parking lot at that location, so making sure that that's met. And the only other thing was building separation, and that, and Joe can address that if that's a question, but this is sort of the standard that they use all over the country, is a 10-foot setback or 10-foot building separation. It's very common in this industry with seniors and these types of housing. It's also common in many zoning codes. Yours is a 15-foot separation, so they did request it in this instance. Also with seniors, less walking distance is sometimes better. There was, as Robin mentioned, there was a request to put internal street lighting in this, where the single-family residential senior housing would be, and that the Trilogy submitted a photometric plan to show that it would be very cut-off, low-level lighting. They don't want lights blaring into people's homes either. So it's appropriate for the site itself. And if you have questions over any of those technicalities, Joe knows inside and out what's happening on that site, and I'm sure is happy to address anything you might have. If you have any questions, we're happy to go over those with you. If you want to go through every exhibit, we can do that too, but that doesn't seem like a productive use of your time. We'd rather be here responsive to your questions. The applicant, in addition to meeting with the neighbors and working with the property owner, also did, as Robin mentioned, comply with all of the requests from both Regional Planning Commission and the Zoning Commission to update the plan, and staff to have a density cap on the number of single-family residences. So you're assured that this doesn't turn into something other than what's proposed in this case. And I'm happy to answer any questions or defer to Joe and let him answer your questions.
Questions?
Okay, thank you. Couple other just comments. I like that you guys are completing the trail or sidewalk. I'm not sure which is on your side, but that's great. I liked that there wasn't any parking in parking lot space that's facing Gooding. Obviously, we're gonna get some light spillage as people drive out onto Gooding into the homes that, whatever home or two that is across. But for the most part, it should just be internal lights away. I did have a question. I saw you guys gave us like a dumpster pattern, which just piqued my interest. So trash pickup for the independent living, will they just, like a traditional home, they wheel their trash can to the edge of the driveway and grab that?
So, first of all, good evening. My name is Joseph Naraki. I'm with Trilogy Health, and I'm at 303 North Hurstbourne, Louisville, Kentucky, okay? I can't remember the zip code, but I think that'll get you close. So, trustees, thank you very much for hearing our project this evening. I can answer any site design, architectural elements, et cetera, and so forth. As we move forward in the presentation, I certainly would like an opportunity to answer any questions that may come up from the general public also. So with regards to the actual dumpster layout, we provided another exhibit.
And I saw that, but that looked to me like it was for this nursing home section.
Yes,
versus,
that's correct, yep.
Yes, that I understood. I didn't understand if for the single family
Oh,
or for
well,
the
as
independent
part of
living.
we own, operate, and manage the patio homes.
Mm-hmm.
Every renter will get their own trash can, and they'll be able to have curbside pickup.
Okay, perfect. Okay. That was what I was wondering. Okay. This is just a comment that our township has been inundated by fiber being installed everywhere. I know it is a concern for people on this table, and it's a concern for people in the audience. So as I was looking at the utility plan and seeing water and gas and things like that, just a little jog. For hopefully they'll install your fiber while you're under construction rather than afterwards.
We hope so too.
Okay, so the 10-foot separation versus our standard of 15-foot. I understood your guys' reasoning for making it 10. It's what you've used. Robin, remind me with the draft code, where do we sit right now? Because I know it's been modified from the existing 15.
Yeah, I believe that's 10 feet
Okay,
for
that's-
the neighborhood zone.
That's what I was thinking. Okay,
I can
all right.
triple check that.
The draft that I looked up on the website last night did match 10, so just double checking. And I think you did answer my question that the independent living is a rental, right? If I were to
That is
move there,
correct.
I'm renting that, I'm not owning that. The divergence on 14-21, which is basically your list of divergences. Let's see, my note says blue tab. Okay. So I'm not exactly sure what page it is in the actual, quantity of pages, but it says 14-21. Found it, okay. All right, so a divergence from section 1405F, which I just want to make sure that we're not allowing residential on the parcels 2 and parcel 1. And I asked Robin this, and he answered it, but I'm just asking it again.
Absolutely not. We made it very clear in several different ways. One is this application is really only to amend as it relates to sub-area 2A. The legal description for that property and the description in the application itself specifically states that we are amending the 11 point, I think, 807.
acres or something like
Or
that,
the
yeah.
gross of 13.397, I can't remember which number we
Yeah.
used. But it specifically is only amending as it relates to that property. And we
Okay.
tried to make it as absolutely clear as possible. This has come up in a couple of meetings. And we tried to make it as absolutely clear as possible that we are only talking about sub-area 2A.
Okay.
Should this development
Die.
die,
Right.
not happen for any reason. The development standards for parcel 2 underlying this sub-area 2A remain intact as they are.
Okay.
The only place that they're being amended is in this sub-area 2A. Should it go away, it would either have to be developed like this or into some other kind of senior housing type facility, or it would have to meet the development standards of the underlying parcel 2A. And that was by design, because we were not intending to amend anything else on that site.
Okay. And Robin, just from my knowledge, and you might not have this, what is, so we, like, 2,220 or something like that is the square foot allowable for sub-area 2A. What is the square foot allowable for all of parcel 2, or maybe the whole development?
I do not recall, but I can look it up. Yeah.
Just like, what's the square footage? Because they caught up the square footage for this particular parcel for 2A. I was just curious what the square footage with the entire site was.
Yeah.
For 1A, including 1A? Like, what's approved now?
Including, correct, yeah. I don't know.
Oh, does that, Robin, so that still applies to 1A if, how does that work if,
There's 1, 2, and 2A are the three.
Yeah, so, and give me a second to find that language, but I believe it said for parcel 2, there's X amount of square footage allowed, and that
And then
this,
you
this
guys are
would.
taking 220,000 of that. Just want to make sure there wasn't like 6 square feet left, right, or whatever, for
No,
the rest of
All
it.
right.
actually, I think
So the building square footage shall not exceed 18,000 square feet per acre for a total of 415,800 square feet in parcel 2.
Okay.
The maximum ground area, maximum square footage in sub-area 2A shall not exceed 220,000 square feet of the total square feet available in parcel 2. So maximum of 220,000 square feet in sub-area 2A, part of 415,800 square feet in parcel 2 as a whole.
Okay, thank you.
so this is also rezoning 1A, or?
Just 2.
It's just 2A, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is 1A? What is the zoning? if
So
this
there is
approved?
no 1A, but parcel 1 is the area
Oh,
north
okay.
of Home Road, and then 2
Two.
is north of this, just south of Home Road,
And is that, what would be the zoning on that then?
the plain commercial.
It remains as it was?
Correct.
Okay.
So the parcel 2 can have about 195-ish thousand square feet.
Correct.
Those are my only questions. Thank you.
I have a few questions. So the assisted living facility is 2 stories, is that correct?
1.5 stories, how's that one?
Okay.
When you think of 2 stories, you think one on top of the other. We only have a portion of it as a 2-story.
Okay,
Per
so
the
just a few
elevations that we
units on
submitted.
that one. And so how many units are you planning to have total?
How many
In
total,
the
how many
assisted
total
living.
units in the skilled nursing facility?
Yeah,
Like how many rooms do you mean?
yeah, how many rooms, yeah?
Yeah, bear with me, and I'll find the floor plan here in a minute, and that's part of the,
Is it on there?
Yeah, I think,
Is it?
I don't know if
counted
it's counted, I didn't count.
I was trying to
So
count it and I,
architectural
could not.
elevation.
Yeah.
it is?
She's looking at it, I just didn't, we just
oh, you
don't.
have it?
Yeah,
Okay.
This one?
I think that's the one they're looking at.
It's the architect, that's it right there,
Yeah.
correct. Yep, and you may have you may have a version that doesn't have the statistics on it,
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
but
ours
if
did.
you'll bear with me a minute here.
I was gonna try to count, but
This is
No
what I
way.
do. No, you don't have to do that.
thank you.
So the conceptual.
So our total.
Oh,
It's on the conceptual memory care plan.
that one.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if, in reply to the question, the total number of beds and the total number of units that we submitted is 108.
Okay,
And the first floor is about 60, I'll just round it up to 63,000. The second is approximately a little over 17,000. That equals the total number of square feet that ultimately that will house skilled nursing, assisted living, memory care.
now is this, when you lay out the number of memory care and skilled nursing and independent living and all that, and assisted living, is that exactly, are any of these subject to change, or is this how many
If
you'll
they
have?
change, they might change by 1 or 2 rooms, but this is our prototype. So this is what we are designing on. We're about 80% done with our construction documents on this plan. A room may change from a label from an assistant living room to a memory care room perhaps, et cetera. But this is our prototype. This is what we plan to design, finish, bid, and build.
So there are no independent living?
Independent living is the
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 30.
patio homes.
Yeah.
Right, okay, because there's a little, okay, so on the actual plans, there's a little red box that says independent living, as if, but I didn't see any within this
Well,
facility.
When we don't do the patio homes, we house independent living on the second floor. But in this case, we're housing independent living
Well,
adjacent
separate.
to the skilled nursing facility,
Yeah.
so then we bring the second floor up to assisted living. Does that
Okay,
make
because
sense?
in the legend, it does mention independent living, even
You
though,
might have a, you might
is
have
that
a.
right?
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
Okay,
She's
it-
looking at the.
I don't
yeah,
know what
it's
this is called,
enlarged.
the enlarged for, but it says independent living, but there was nothing shown in red here. So I wanted to make sure there's no possibility this entire thing would become independent living,
Oh, no, so that,
which
see,
I
what we're
doubt,
looking at.
but I don't know what this
Joe,
is.
Sure.
here's the next.
I've got
couple
these
pages.
statistics right here.
Okay,
That's
there's
part
no
of our
red here.
submittal. Yeah, so something's missing off your plan there.
Yeah.
But either way, I can
Well,
get
it's
you.
added, it's independent, this says
I think
red.
she's just looking at the.
Oh, I
roll-up.
see what you're
It's
looking
just a
at.
different sheet.
Once we
But there's no
updated
red
this,
on here that says
Is it on
independent.
yours?
Yeah, I'm saying, because in theory, if there was red list, I mean, I don't think it could happen, but the
No,
whole thing
correct.
could be converted, I doubt it, but it does say independent living as a legend, on this legend of this
but that's
facility.
not referred to on the
It doesn't
plan. It's
show.
just our prototype legend.
Yeah.
Our independent living goes off to the north side with these independent.
But it was included in the application, so, right, Robin, is that right?
Yeah, and so there is a line in the text, the number of senior independent living facilities shall not exceed 30 units.
And that's for the
So that
entire
would-
property,
yeah,
so it's not
correct.
possible, okay. So, because it was on the legend, but it wasn't included, so I just wanted to make sure. Okay, and so, in theory, this would probably not happen, but you will have approximately this mix of uses, like skilled care, skilled nursing, memory care, all that. This is about what usually works for you. You're not going to convert the whole thing to assisted living or anything like that. Is this the
No, no,
appropriate
we're
mix, right?
licensing this facility based upon this floor plan, based upon our prototype
Okay.
with the state of Ohio.
Okay, good. All right, and what is the height of your building, of this
So,
assisted living?
yeah, so we submitted for a 30-foot, 8-foot maximum to the ridge of the
30?
facility. 38.
38, okay.
38. That was discussed at the planning commission and was approved. There is an architectural element, it's a cupola, if you will, that we usually add in for natural light. That is per your ordinance, that is not the line that we need to dimension to. Our ridge line of the facility will be that maximum of 38 feet. And
Okay,
that was
not
discussed.
including the
Not
cupola?
including the cupola, no.
Which looks like it's maybe over the like the dining room space or something like
It
that.
goes over the dining room space, that's correct, for natural light, yep.
And what's the maximum, Robin, that's permitted, is it 50?
50.
50, okay. So that's lower than it could be. And, let's see, you said 108 units and then a maximum of 30. And was a traffic study required to be conducted by the county?
We were not asked to do
Okay.
that, no.
Do you know about how many trips per day that these units and the independent living area are expected to generate per day?
I can answer that if you'll give me some time to find that trip generation document for our facility, but it's not a lot. I can just tell you, we're not a high traffic use at all.
It's just staff or visitors, right?
Mostly
Right.
staff, our maximum staff number that we have on the first shift during the day is a 45-person maximum staff. That's our first shift. And after that, it falls off heavy. Think about all the folks that are gonna be living inside of our skilled nursing facility. The vast majority of them will have visitors only, or independent livers. The average age is 81.
Oh.
Out of that, about half of them don't even drive. They want a walkable community. So we have not been asked for a traffic impact analysis. It should not be required in this type of project. And I can also follow up with a trip generation memo.
Yeah, that would be great,
for
just
you
to
guys.
have.
Yeah,
And so even
that's not a
the,
problem.
even the independent living that might have more trips per day, but,
It's a combination of both, coming in and out of
Oh,
one
you
main
do?
entrance.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
and so this is not an age-restricted community, the independent
It's
living?
a 55-plus community.
It is,
Yeah.
it is, so
Yeah.
you did
For
whatever,
the independent living piece.
okay, and so you have to register with the state or whatever you have to do, right? Okay, so,
Correct, yeah.
good, okay.
There's a trip generation report from 2017
Is
in the attachments at the
At the
end
very back, yeah.
from MS
Is
Consultants.
that,
But it is from 2017.
is that applicable to this type of use? No, I think
No,
that's.
I mean, I
that's a-
think you
that's a
would see
completely
that,
different use.
that would probably be more of a higher,
Yeah, that was more for a
number.
commercial.
Yeah, they were looking at
Yeah.
senior adult housing.
I'm assuming it would probably be less than if it was a commercial development.
yeah.
I would assume so.
I would assume. And the 55-plus people probably won't. Also, it's not as much as a single family, which can be quite a bit. Let's see here.
They'll like walking to the library.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it will be nice.
Across
Yeah,
the
I
bridge
think.
to the fitness center.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a walkable area. Go to the pool. Let's see, so do the independent living, do they take field trips sometimes? Do they go off-site? Do you ever get a bus and go do stuff?
Well, so the independent.
I mean, not independent,
Yeah.
assisted living.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Those that are part of our overall campus experience that are in the skilled nursing facility, we have as part of our fleet, we have a bus that's there 24/7, 365, that do take our patients.
On field trips or shopping or
where they wanna go, et cetera,
something.
and so forth. So we try to promote a very active community. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen for everyone. And then our independent livers that reside in the patio homes, that's their home. They drive in and out, walk in and out, all around, et cetera, and so forth. And they have access to our campus also. But hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, that does. And so that's just one trip with the bus. So I'm just trying to compare it to what, because a little bit of the challenge is that I don't like to violate the land use plan for areas, but this particular situation seems to make a lot of sense because it generates fewer trips per day. It doesn't generate, a bunch of trash and loud noises and things, and it's a use that I think our community needs with everyone getting older.
Sure.
And things like that. So I'm just trying to give my opinion on why this is kind of different than if someone came in and said, I want this all to be single family, for example, which would generate school children and, additional burden.
Oh, sure.
And lots more traffic. Or even if it was, I know commercial is having a difficult time these days developing with a lot of people doing online shopping. So I feel like this would probably be a good use for this particular piece of property.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Can't read my writing, hold on, oh my gosh. So 45, maximum of 45 staff members. Oh, no, can you describe the kind of person that will be living in the independent living facility? Like in those homes, is it what's the rent per month? Do you have a range for rent?
Boy, I tell you, it's market driven, and I don't have that answer. I typically don't get involved with that kind of question until the project's approved. And then the marketing folks take it from there. So I don't have an answer.
Would you say it's higher end or just average? Any
For this
idea?
particular area, I'm gonna say it's gonna be higher end.
Higher end, okay. So do you know how this is different than maybe some of the surrounding uses? Like we have some other multifamily in the area, like Clear Creek across the street and things. Will this be similar to that, or do you find it to be different?
It will complement it very, very well.
Okay,
These are really, really nice patio homes. They come in 1 and 2 bedroom rentals. They're well finished. They're a high quality product. And our Trilogy's builder group will be building these, so we're the actual general contractor too, so we take a lot of pride in what we build.
okay, good. Let's see. And Robin, would this be considered still commercial?
Yes,
With
it's
a
a plain
divergence for the
commercial district.
residential, right? And we don't really like to give divergences either for residential areas, that's kind of a big no-no. But in this case, I feel that this type of residential use is pretty low impact compared to, 300 apartments, which some people have proposed for this site in the past, or, with people coming and going and things like that. And I feel this is a service that we need. It will generate some tax dollars to the township. I haven't necessarily been in favor of most other proposed uses for this site. There have been many over the last 30 years that I didn't really care for, but in this case, I think this seems to be something that complements the surrounding area. We have the nice single-family area and the nice multifamily and the pool and the park and the library, and this would seem to be something, it's a pretty big building, but if it was a commercial development, I feel like you could build up to what, a 3 or 4 story tall?
Four.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could have quite an intensive use. And I know when the Amazon was thinking about going in there, I think that was 47-foot tall building. It was years ago. So I find this would be a little bit fitting in a little bit more than some of the other uses. I might have some more questions, but I think I'm done for now.
And Robin, we've discussed with the applicant our new community authority policy, correct?
Correct.
You know, where do we stand with those conversations?
So we've provided some data to the applicant, to Trilogy. I think Trilogy is still digesting those numbers and those materials, so that's where we stand currently.
Do you want to explain what a new community authority is to the public?
Yeah, absolutely. So, especially with a project like this, the township, I think, was one of the first in the state, once we had the legal authority to be able to do so, to adopt a policy which will allow the township to appoint a new board, and that new board will have the ability to levy some community development charges on potentially more dense development that gets approved, to help offset the additional impact for, more dense, in this case, residences on our existing infrastructure, so that, existing residents aren't paying for additional tax burden on trying to build out new public infrastructure. So it seems like the applicant is potentially willing to join and partner with our new community authority, but we're still determining what that charge might look like.
You have committed to joining it, is that correct? We just haven't determined the millage?
That is correct.
Okay, so you are, okay, so basically you'll be paying some additional millage to help pay for the development, and we're still negotiating on that amount.
The negotiations have started at a small scale, but we certainly are excited to get to the negotiating table with you guys, and as we will be the initial business to have this taxing authority implemented, right?
Yeah, and that's something that you spearheaded, correct?
Yes.
Our trustee Ringgold spearheaded that, so, yeah, we
Which will
appreciate
be
that.
hopefully another opportunity to diversify our real property tax dependent revenue streams here in the township.
Yeah, it's the first one, right? Did you say? Okay, so,
And
yeah,
it's-
that will help a lot.
It's definitely helpful because as an assisted living or nursing home facility does require more, like fire department runs, basically medic
EMS.
runs, than say a home does, right, typically. So that's the reason that we've asked for this to be a part of it. So,
Yeah, and even we could have an NCA for just strictly residential areas in the future, but
Yes.
as long as the developer
Yeah,
agrees, yeah, to
we've
help mitigate.
so far have been targeting any new commercial development to go into our joint economic development district to share income taxes with the township.
Yes, that was
But
very
in this
helpful.
time, we're using the NCA.
Yes, because of
It is
the
commercial,
residential
but it's all
component.
residential,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good.
Should we open it up for public comment?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll, at this time, turn to public comment. If you have public comment, please come up to the podium, state your name and address, direct your comments and questions to the board, and then we, the board, will ask your questions to the applicant after public comment. And we'll be sure to circle back if there seems to be any outstanding questions. So at this time, do we have any public comment?
Hi, my name is Michelle Shove. I live at 7015 Star Hollow Lane, Delaware, Ohio 43015. My husband and I live in the Clear Creek community. Our house backs up to Gooding, right across from where the new development will be. We're not opposed to it at all. We're in favor of it. But again, we're glad to see that some changes were made in terms of like mounding and some more trees in terms to create a buffer zone there. But I know that they had mentioned, Catherine, I think you mentioned tonight, just recently getting approval for where that curb cut is.
Yes.
I'd like to know, has anybody been out there? Is it gonna be, because literally my husband, there's that wooded area and then that's where our houses start. We're the second house on, is that curb cut, would it be across from that wooded area? If you can, does anybody know that exactly?
Well, if you don't mind, what we do is we try to meet the county's ordinance for a dimensional, from center line of existing to the proposed mill. And so what we designed was a dimension that satisfies the Delaware County Road Commission. And we submitted that plan, and we have a permit, and I believe it's approximately 170 feet from center line of existing road to our proposed curb cut for conversation.
Sure.
Now, I can
No.
speculate where that is by, if you look at the drainage, so if you look at the drainage ditch that, has been mitigated, and that's where we're bringing our stormwater through. So if I had lasers
Yeah.
at work on this TV, but if you look at that ditch, if you will, all right? So what I want to do is go to where the ditch is on our Yeah, correct, yeah. So with that being said, if Robin, if you go back to the site plan now, and,
It's Michelle's doing that.
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle.
Mhm.
So, you might have to go back to the utility plan, which is C, I think maybe C 200 possibly, because it doesn't show the drainage on this. Look at the,
So if you go back to the map that you just
there's
showed,
C 200.
that-
Yeah.
I guess the question is like, is the entrance south of the ditch or north of the ditch?
Our proposed entrance is south of the ditch.
Can you give us the
But I don't know where
GIS?
it is
info?
in relationship to your property, so I want to answer it accurately.
So,
Michelle, can you go back to that one, the first picture you showed? Okay,
So where are you then?
okay, scroll down, if you can scroll down, so I'll show you where our house is.
Okay.
No, just going the other way.
Oh,
North?
sorry.
Go north, yeah. So the second house on the left, right there, that's our house.
Okay, so our entrance is way south of that.
Okay,
Where-
all
So right
right,
where the arrow is approximately right there?
yes.
That's where our entrance is gonna be, and it's
so
south of
question
that
about
drainage
Okay,
area.
okay, cool, that's the wooded area. Okay, that's
Great.
all I wanted to know.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
You bet, good question, thank you.
Do we have other public comment? Okay, seeing none. Do we have other questions or discussion from the board?
I do not have any. Thank you for lining that across from the woods rather than some side window.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, everyone enjoys not having headlights in their back
Right.
windows.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so I just want to reiterate that I know the owner has tried to develop this property for decades, and there's been no use that seems to have worked for everybody, and I do want to reiterate that, I know you guys have made a lot of changes, but I think this would be a good use for this area. Like I said, it's going to be pretty quiet use. There's a big need for it in the area for older people, and, you could almost start off at the North Orange subdivision and then go to Clear Creek and then go to, straight to the assisted living if you want, so it's transitional. So,
Never have to get on 23.
Exactly, so you
Just wanna go to the grocery
you can stay in the same area. and,
Walk
you
around Gooding. Yeah.
Exactly, and you can't, it's one of the most walkable communities, I think, in the whole township. I can't think of
For
anywhere else.
residential, there's not little stores, but
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
with amenities.
residential, yeah.
Places
just
you can
for
go,
fun things, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, mostly you can get on some bike trails in the township, or like where I live in Green Meadows, High Meadows, we can get to High Banks or Home Depot. But there's not, I guess mine's kind of walkable, but overall, there's not a lot of walkable areas where people can go and do things. And hopefully when the other part of this is developed, it will be complementary as well. But I do think this is probably the best use, even though we're kind of diverging from our land use plan, which I really 99% of the time don't like to do. But, single-family development could be dozens of single-family homes, creating 50 children and a great expense to taxpayers, new schools and things like that. So I think this would be a relatively, other than you have a few additional EMS runs, I think overall it will be a good complement to the community. So
Thank you.
I don't think I have any more questions.
I didn't have any. I agree. I think it's a good use. The most recent application, at least that I've seen when I've been here, is for an apartment complex, and this is better for this site, and I think for our neighbors that
Yeah,
are
we
existing.
turn that
Yeah,
down.
so I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Now, we don't have necessarily a decision before us this evening because we're still negotiating the new community authority
Yep.
millage, correct? So in order to continue and conclude that negotiation, we need to close this hearing and schedule another hearing for a later date?
Yes, so if the board is fine with the application as submitted, staff will continue working with the developer on negotiating that millage rate for the new community authority, and then we would render a decision within 20 days. So I would suggest, since we have a meeting on December 29th, to do it then.
At 7:30, when we currently have that meeting scheduled? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that, do we do a special meeting for that? Do we just make a decision? Like, how does that, I forget. We usually do it at a regular meeting, but in this case, is it still part of the, it's not considered a hearing, right? There's no further deliberations.
correct.
Right.
So I guess you have two options, but the one that we had kind of discussed and considered is you close the hearing tonight. The public hearing is concluded. And then you have 20 days from this date to issue a decision, which would come via resolution. You can do that in a regular meeting or a special meeting as long as it's properly advertised.
And our next regular meeting is next Wednesday, and I don't know that we'll be ready at that time to make that
I
decision.
think we need more time.
Yeah, so, the 29th works.
And so we
Yeah.
haven't published the 29th meeting yet, so we'll add this to that
To the
agenda.
agenda.
Just add it, okay.
I'm fine with that. Is everyone
And
fine
so
with that?
the hearing will be closed. All we'll do at that time, we'll make
Just,
our
Render
decision.
the decision.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Well, thank you to the applicant for your time this evening and for your proposal. Seeing no additional business to come before us this evening, I will move to adjourn our meeting.
Did we close the hearing? Do we,
Close.
Mr. Ringle, you do want to close the hearing.
do you want to close the hearing?
Technically close the hearing
Okay.
And then adjourn the hearing.
and then adjourn the meeting.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
There we go.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.